Hello, this is Riley. This morning I woke up questioning something very normal that might actually be kind of strange. And that is that sometimes when I look at inanimate objects I see something other than what is there. Now that sounds a little bit confusing, so let me illustrate my point by taking you on a little tour. For example, a wall plug. Seems innocent enough, but really when you look at it, you see a face staring right back at you. And these cars, they look like they have faces too. And look at this weird part of my door. It looks like it has a face as well. Even coffee grounds or tea leaves that people read from time to time, we see images in them too. Or on this juice box, you might take a look at this cow made of oranges. Why? Or because of the dots in color, I know that this is a ladybug, when really it's just a bunch of material sewn together with fluff inside. The fact is that we have this automatic reflex to recognize faces and other things in objects that we see every day. You might look at a tree and think, ah, what a wise tree, look at that face. Or you might admire a cloud and think that you see a bird or a whale or something. But what's actually happening is not really what we're seeing, but what's going on in our brain. Our imagination is overriding our logic. And as it turns out, this is so normal to see things and other things that some people sell toast on eBay because it looks like Jesus or other famous people faces. And there are hashtags like hashtag I see faces, which are tons of pictures of people seeing faces and things that don't actually have faces. And as it turns out, this is actually something called pareidolia, which is the tendency to see faces in things that don't have faces, or more generally, the tendency to see images in random data. Now there are lots of theories behind why this happens. Some people believe that it was developed as a survival mechanism. Others claim that because our brains are constantly interpreting a jumble of information, it makes predictions based on what it knows, and what it knows really well are faces because we see them everywhere. So it sees an outlet on the wall and sees a face, or a piece of toast and sees a celebrity. And some people claim that depending on what you see, you can make interpretations of that person's mental state. So pareidolia is, if you haven't already guessed, something that people use for ink blot tests, which are a sort of directed pareidolia experiment to understand a person's mental state. However, some artists like Leonardo da Vinci called it an artistic device, and claimed that seeing imaginary scenes and landscapes were inspiration for paintings. But really, when you think about it, isn't any interpretation of art, whether that's a sculpture or a painting, just a form of pareidolia? Interestingly enough, lots of surrealists actually played on this idea, as can be seen in one of the famous paintings, Ceci n'est pas une pipe, or This isn't a pipe. Many artists during the Dada and Surrealism movement like to criticize people for seeing art as anything other than just what it was on a page. But our brains are trained to take any little hint that it receives and to run with it. And so it does that every single day. So how much of what you see is actually your imagination filling in the gaps? I hope you see a lot of faces in toast this week. See you next time.